You know, looking at the numbers and the truth or stuff, it's like, why do I even bother to do this? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's more therapeutic for me than anybody else who's listening because I just, like an old man, I need to rant into a microphone. You know what I mean? I look at the state of the modern world, right? I look at my country and I just can't help but want to bitch my face off. And I'm trying to do this without swearing. I think it's the third time. And the F bombs just keep creeping up there. So I've set it in my heart now to not drop any F bombs. But you might have heard Texas is burning. So yeah, that sucks. Unless you're one of these brainwashed NPCs who hates his own country, hates his fellow countrymen, because it's pretty insane the stuff I'm reading. Okay. And like I said, if you want to know what it's like to be divided and conquered, just read the comments here. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Let's see. God bless the great state of Texas. Hey, we started off with something positive here. It's a very important economic powerhouse for a country and the friendliest people you'll ever meet anywhere in the nation. 2 down votes. 2 down votes. This is your country. This is your country. This is where a lot of steak and burgers come from, too, by the way. If you don't care about human lives, maybe you care about your own food supply. If you're just, self-centered and nasty, it's probably not a good idea to celebrate, one of your states burning. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Must be God's punishment for all the dates in Texas, blah, blah, blah. So this is a common theme. And this is a really good way to piss me off. It just is. Because it's one of those hypocrite things, right? What's the Bible say about people who do that? Remove the log from your own eye before you try to remove the speck from your brother's eye, right? You don't speak for God. You don't call down God's wrath or punishment on anybody else, right? Because God, what? He glories much more in his mercy than his punishment. You don't even have to be a Christian to understand why that's a nasty thing to say. All right? Christians who know the Lord and know his word, we don't talk like that. We are praying for mercy and forgiveness always because we know that we ourselves are sinners who are saved by grace through faith alone. And that's it. Okay? And I see this a lot. And I cringe every time I read it. And I think to myself, God, please have mercy on that person. My initial response is, man, I hope God gives you what you got coming. And then I reel it back and I'm like, no, I don't want that, because then that means that's pointed at me now. And God does that. He'll turn your finger back around and point it right at you every single time when you pull this dumb crap. So this wrath of God's coming down on you. That's, ooh, man, watch it. You're going to have a bad day. You keep speaking for God and wagging your finger in judgment against other people. And I don't mean judging their actions or their sins or whatever. I mean, you are literally calling God's judgment on people or assuming that's what it is. And man, that's, I think I'd rather slam my face into the door than take that risk. Okay? Because at least that'll heal. Then it'll eventually go away. No, I wouldn't tempt God like that by pretending to speak for him, okay? Mag, this is another thing. You're gonna see nonstop Trump derangement syndrome. And I'm not even a Trumper. I don't like the guy. I think he's a shill. And I'm not trying to offend any of my viewers or anything, but I don't think we've had a legit president in my lifetime. I don't think any of us remember one that was legitimate. I mean, I think the last one that was somewhat legitimate, they blew the guy away, right? So I don't know if anybody else had the spine to stand up after that. Religion has been putting up a ton of L's lately while science is undefeated. What is this? What even is this? How do you figure that Texas being on fire is a religious L? My dude, you look like you're about 10. Get off the internet, kid. When I was this kid's age, I think I was playing like Final Fantasy VII or something. The last thing I was doing was hitting up forums somewhere, or causing trouble, or making jokes about people dying. Look at this guy. Isn't that lovely? Burn, Texas, burn. It's your country. I want you guys to imagine for a moment anybody acting like this in the 80s and 90s. If you grew up during that time, even if you didn't, just take a look back at like the newscasts and people during disasters, like when there was a hurricane or something. Just look at the people when they interviewed people and how they behaved. And then I want you to take it and measure it to the kind of crap you're reading here right now. I know some of you are thinking, this is the internet, man. What do you expect? Bro. The internet's always been fairly brutal, right? But this is crazy, man. It's not a joke. People are dying and are going to die. Like right now, as I speak, this is happening. And the people are just, whatever. Oh, the chickens come home to roost, see? Now they got it coming, see? And then this guy one day when he has a bad day and things are going bad, he's just, man, how come nothing's going right today? Or worse, there's just disaster that happens in his area. Who knows? Maybe there's a massive tornado or a flood. He loses his house. He'll never stop and think about, what about that post? Because of course not, right? That would never happen. God would never see you being nasty and bitter and resentful toward your fellow brothers and sisters and then say, I'm going to pour some of that out on you and see how you like it. That would never happen, right? Keep it up, dude. Usually I warn people, just so you know. I don't just keep scrolling. I'm in here a lot telling people, you better watch it. Watch out, man. This is crazy, but I can't stop thinking when I see or hear the story that God punishes the wicked. Look at this. Look at this. So you're telling me the entire state is wicked, and that's God's just pouring out his vengeance? I don't know about your Bible, but my Bible says that God is storing up his wrath for the day of judgment, and that this is the dispensation of grace. This is the age of grace. I don't know how many of you Christians are aware of this or not, but we're not in the law Old Testament age, where God pulls some Sodom and Gomorrah type stuff and completely wipes out an entire city. We're not living during that time. Because if we were, well, I don't know if any nation on earth would still be standing. Okay? Because we've gone way beyond Sodom and Gomorrah levels of corruption. It's bad. So, no, not yet. Not yet. But I know you want that to come quick, don't you, Romantic Apt? It turns my stomach to see people doing this. Oh, God punishes the wicked. And what? You're righteous? What? Of your own? Or was that imputed unto you through Christ? None of us are righteous on our own. Christians are not righteous. This self-righteous Christian thing, it's real. There are people who act like that, and they're an embarrassment. What can I say, man? There's a lot of people in the world. There's a lot of denominations. There's people who act crazy. They do things that they shouldn't do. Yeah, this is not for us to say, to decide whatsoever. You don't get to play God in any way, shape, or form. If only Texans would have raked the panhandle. Yeah, that's funny. We need more raking jokes, guys. That'll fix it. No. Just a moment ago, I saw somebody reply to this, and he said, praying for wind. I guess he took it down. I did warn him. God's wrath, he's had enough of Texas, yeah. And what happens when he has enough of you? Smart ass. Oh, there's people dying in a fire? Oh, God must be angry. That must be God doing it to them. I'm perfect and sinless and awesome, though. so I don't have to worry about it. We got Tom Hanks jokes from Castaway. We got jokes, man. Never mind that, people are dying in a fire. People dying in a fire. I guess that's fine. Animals, people, infrastructures being destroyed, livestock. Doesn't matter. Why? Because we're a conquered people, that's why. Because this is what happens. This is the kind of society you end up with when people take the bait that the media sets out. That's what happens. So, like I said, read the comments to see what it looks like to be divided and conquered people. I guarantee you, they're not sitting over in China when those floods happen going, oh, pointing their finger at the other provinces saying, oh, look what happened to them. You can go to Russia. And I pretty much guarantee that there's nobody over there saying, oh, look what happened over there. Ha. Oh, they got hit with a rocket barrage the other day. Did you hear it? It's hilarious. It's so funny. If only they would have voted this way or that way. Do you think anybody else is doing this in any other country? You think maybe this is a problem? It's all over but the crying, man. America is finished. I don't know how else to explain this to people, but when you've got a state that is burning with people dying, and you've got thousands of comments, well, hundreds of comments of people who are just making fun of that, and they just think it's hilarious and a reason to make political jokes, it's over. That's it. So, how do you come back from this? You don't. Because when people get this divided, the only way is to go through it. So there's going to be a war in this country. I would be amazed if it didn't happen. If there wasn't a civil war in this country in my lifetime, I will be amazed. And after all the messing around America has done playing world police, do you think the other nations are going to sit back and go, during this time that they're most vulnerable and devouring each other, let's just sit back and watch? Or do you think maybe they're gonna pounce on that opportunity? Would you pounce on that opportunity? If you were Russia, China, Turkey, Iran, Syria, etc., do you think maybe you'd have a coalition, I don't know, called BRICS? If you're not scared by now about what's happening in your country, you should be. Unless you're a Christian. In which case, I gotta be honest, I'm still kind of freaked out. God forgive me. It's freaky. I don't want to live through this. I don't want to have to see this anymore. I feel like I'm on a train, and I explained this to the missus the other day. I'm like, I feel like I'm watching a train wreck in slow motion. And then I recanted. I'm like, wait a minute. No. I feel like I'm on the train, and I know it's going to go off the rails, and it's going to be horrible. And it's happening in slow motion. There's nothing I can do. I'm just screaming at people, get down, duck. It's going off the rails. And people, just shut up. What are you talking about? You're crazy. Everything's fine. I want off this ride. You know what I say to this? I say, Maranatha, Lord. I say, hurry. Get me out of here, please. Because these people are crazy. And they do not represent the way that I feel. Okay? I feel like a foreigner in my own country emotionally. I'm not even talking about migrant status, bro. I'm talking about my emotional and my heart, my emotions and my heart do not match that of the people that I've read here in the comments. And I can only hope that it's a small fraction of a very vocal minority. Because if this is a representation of how we think as Americans, even 30% of us, we're in a lot of trouble. Not to say, we're in a lot of trouble anyways. But man, that's pretty sobering. That's pretty sobering. One of your states is on fire and people got jokes. They think it's great. They think it's lovely. Anyway, that's about all I got. God bless, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. If we still have a country by the time I get there.